So did you know that it was a tradition in North America in the 19th century to go on a Christmas Day side hunt, where you would basically try to kill all the birds? Because that's what Christmas is all about. It actually wasn't until 1990 when a ornithologist actually proposed that maybe instead of killing all the birds on Christmas Day, that they count them instead. It's been a tradition since 1990 for bird nerds to go out and participate in what's called a Christmas count. Some places it's a little bit more formal where they're actually trying to count numbers. Today, we're gonna do a bike birding version of it. So are you ready to not kill all the birds?
No bird massacres here, folks. Tradition of a Christmas bird count, not so popular in Spain, but we like doing it anyway. It's beautiful. Why not go for a bike ride and see some birds?
We had coffee with a couple local Catalan bike nerd folks, and Alesh gifted us this pretty cool card of, you know, the most common birds, aves, ocels in Catalonia. So we're gonna see how many we can pick off the list today, and hopefully learn some Spanish and Catalan along the way. So the route we're doing goes south out of Girona. It makes a loop, and we return on one of the Via Verde along the Terra River, where we'll probably have a higher chance of spotting some birds. So that's what we're aiming for, a spot there, and maybe pick a couple off here in the campo. We just came to a thrilling and rushing stop because
I think it was a tit of some sort. Looks much like a chickadee, but a little bit bigger.
I'll show you the guide we got gifted here. Pretty cool. ¿Dónde está? So this is the great tit. It's a Malarenga carbonera in Catalan. English, great tit clearly, and carbonera común in Spanish. I think that one of the coolest birds, and the bird that is featured very prominently on the cover, is the pupot in Catalan. What's it called in English? Hoopoe. The hoopoe. It's so cool. It's orange, and they're usually not in this region during the winter, but since things have been warming up, they've been staying around year round. We saw one last week, and maybe if we're lucky, we'll see this one, because it is like an awesome looking bird. So we have a positive ID, and it's a Pete Roche, or a little European robin. Super cute here, very different from the American robin.
Turns out not related to an American robin at all.
Alesh was telling us about the goldfinch that they have in this area. Some variations of it have like a red mask. And lore behind that is when Jesus was crucified, these goldfinches came to kind of pluck out the thorns out of his head, and that's why they have that red mask, which is kind of a cool story.
It's very fitting for Christmas time.
Yeah. Look at all the things you guys are learning. Okay, so as we were riding, another larger sized bird flew by. It was black, looked kind of starling size, but had a yellow beak.
Let's look through all the pictures. Oh, maybe it's this guy.
Oh, it's that one. What is it?
It's a blackbird.
It's a blackbird.
In Catalan, merla. In Espanol, mirlo común.
It's just warming up, picking off the more common birds before we get to the
really exciting ones, right? Yeah. They'll show up at the finale.
Yes. Not like you guys can see, but there are these white birds that are flying over, and they look like the little egrets. Fairly common in town on the Oña River. Those would be the Martinet Blanc, or the Graceto Común.
Pretty sure those are starlings, because I know that sound.
Pretty unmistakable. I'm going to go with starling also. That would be the Estrenel Bulgar, common starling, or...
It's called a common starling here?
Yeah.
It's not a European starling. Like we know them in the U.S.
Right. So what I'm realizing as we're doing this is that It's actually kind of tricky to do this while you're pedaling. Laura has the binos in her bag, so we have to stop and pull them out each time. If you want to get really nerdy, like some kind of chest-mounted bino holster would be the way to go. Or just, you know, bike to a location, hang out, and wait for the birds to come to you. So this is what I mean about taking those gravel roads out in the middle of nowhere, and they end up being like sign routes. Pretty cool. There's a ton of like walking and hiking tourism. See a lot of people just enjoying the countryside. Bom dia. All right, so what did we just see?
A white wagtail. It's the one bird that I can identify right now.
That would be this one, and it's the Cuireta Blanca Bulgar, white wagtail, or Lavandera Blanco. It's a mouthful.
Yes.
Super nice right now. You know, in the spring and the summer it gets really humid, but now it's like blissfully cool and dry. What do you think?
It's pretty perfect right now.
This whole little section here feels like a little enchanted forest. Love that little stretch of road and that like tree that you pop out of. I've painted a bunch of times because it's just so perfect. Okay, so just cute random little medieval church and a plaza. I think we're gonna take a gummy bear break here because from here we go up a steep road and down an even steeper one. And turns out this church first documented when?
882. Not 1882. 1100 years ago.
Pretty old. You know, old in the US is like 1950. That's a little bit older. So I believe we're at the top, we're near the top. So now the bananas downhill towards the river terror. So should be interesting. Whee! Descent was pretty sweet. Like right when you crest over, you get an awesome view of the valley, and then it's just a screaming downhill into this quaint little town of Bescano. And now we're on the Via Verde back into Girona.
I really like this loop, actually. We need to do this again.
Yeah. Whew. Okay, so this is the spot by the Terra River where I thought we'd see more birds, but whoa, it's not looking all that great in terms of birds. So what's interesting about the Terra is that the actually holds trout. It's got some brown trout as well as some rainbows. It's been having a rough time over the last decade. We actually met with a filmmaker named Martine. We did a whole documentary on the Terra River. It feeds some reservoirs upstream, and those reservoirs are like really low right now. And those reservoirs also act as like the main water source for Barcelona. It's gonna get tricky in the next couple years. But let's walk down to the water, see if we can spot anything cool. So we've asked about how fishing works in Catalonia, and apparently you get a region-wide license, and for individual stretches of water you have to get an additional permit, and they limit the number of anglers to I think 16 per stretch of water. It's a little bit tricky. Hope to navigate it eventually so we can do a little bike fishing, but we'll see. Oh, what are those? The water's so clear. I thought I saw something that looked like what are those ones that we used to have, like really skinny legs, long beak, sandpipers? Yeah. I don't know if they have those here. Definitely think we'll come back here often as things heat up because it's relatively shaded and it's nice and cool from the water. What'd you find?
I think it's a little like rock red of some sort.
Oh, okay.
Cargolet. Or Shoshin.
Shoshin. Okay, you guys can't see it, but there's a bird over there. Sparrow size, long tail, yellow underbelly, black beak. It's not on the guide. Oh.
Well,
gray wagtail.
That's what the guide suggested, and I wanted to ask Merlin also.
Which one was it?
This guy.
Oh yeah, that was definitely it. Cureta torrentera, or the
Lavandera cascadenia. Handsome long-tailed bird.
Would you consider it handsome?
I would actually. It was a very handsome bird. I saw it and I went, oh, that is a nice...
Big guapo.
Exactly.
I think this is going to be a fun and interesting new holiday tradition. Instead of killing all the birds, counting all the birds on bike. What do you think?
I like it. Much better tradition.
How many species did we see today?
I lost count, but I think it was around 14 or so.
That's pretty good. It's almost like, what was that, like 10% of the birds?
Of the book. Yeah, that's not... I'm proud of us.
Yeah.
I'll take it. A couple of them were new.
It is a little tricky to ride and spot the birds, pull out the binos and stuff. I think next time we try this, we might go bike out to a real birdie spot and just do it that way.
Just park there.
Yeah.
Hang out for a while. Yeah. I feel like starting to bird here, I feel like a beginner birder all over again.
Right.
Like I was so used to the birds that we had around Missoula. And it's kind of fun because, in Missoula, I feel like we were like, it's just a robin. And here we're like, oh my God, it's a robin! It's a new bird.
Very exciting. Robins here are way more exciting. So it's Christmas Day. I'm going to maybe have this up in time for North American Christmas. We shall see. If I do, then happy holidays. And as always, keep the supple side down.